Everybody, we're back again to talk about one of our favorite topics, and that is
food.
Food.
When we travel, it's not just about trying to eat enough calories to sustain your energy. It's enjoying the food as part of the experience, the culture, the cuisine.
Yeah, we're tasting the region.
Yeah,
essentially.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's what we're going to cover today on our lap around America. We ate at a lot of restaurants, and what is the total count? It's about...
Oh, I just know...
Well, 3 meals a day for 60 days.
3 pages of notes, and let me tell you, it was so much fun compiling this list because I was kind of reliving the sensory experience and made my taste buds salivate.
A little bit. If you hear jet noise in the background, I am convinced that Oceana Naval Air Station, which is behind us about 3 to 4 miles, has an operative in the woods behind our house who's watching us with binoculars and go, okay,
they're doing it again.
They're starting to film. Start the jets.
Yeah. But we do call that the sound of freedom around here. Maybe we should start with what is kind of our strategy for selecting a restaurant or deciding where to eat.
Well, since you have the most input on that and you do the most research, why don't you talk about that?
Well, for me, there are a couple of things. When we can, we like to eat a heavier meal at lunch so we can have a lighter dinner. It just works better while we're traveling, but it can't be too heavy on carbs, or our driver will have some problems for the afternoon.
And just to be clear, I am an honor graduate of Advanced Combat Napping School. I can sleep anywhere, anytime, under any conditions. One of our recent trips, I actually pulled into a parking lot and I just took off my jacket and used it as a ground covering and laid on the ground and took a nap right next to the spider.
Yeah, he did, and that amazed me. But so we try to look for, fairly healthy. We try to avoid chain restaurants. You can eat at a McDonald's or Denny's, that kind of thing, anywhere. So we try to avoid those when we can. We like mom and pop places because they tend to be filled with local people and local, choices in terms of food. So we want to taste the cuisine of the area. And sometimes we made a decision to splurge.
Yes, we did.
Just for the experience. And no surprise, some of our best meals were splurges. When you pay more money, you tend to get better quality, and the view tends to be better.
Yes.
And when I say that, I'm thinking about the Mesa Grill at Sedona, Arizona, and also the Red Cliffs Lodge restaurant in Moab. If you have the chance, you definitely want to check those out.
Sadly, the Mesa Grill in Sedona is at the airport. It is an airport restaurant, and I have many fond memories about eating at airport restaurants. And normally the cuisine there is what you would classify as general pub fare, generally. However, the Sedona Grill is really a top-shelf restaurant. It is a destination restaurant,
and it's a James Beard award-winning chef who runs the operation there.
And you overlook the valley of Sedona and the Red Cliffs area and the airport itself, so it's very pleasant. Sadly, we have very little video from that restaurant. I guess we were too busy eating to shoot video.
Right, and I also think it's fair to say that anywhere we dined with some of you was an awesome meal. We could have had cheese and crackers, and it would have been an awesome meal. You want to talk about the breakfast buffets and why we tortured ourselves with endless breakfast buffets?
When you get up in the morning and you start applying coffee to yourself just to wake up, and you're getting everything ready to go for a day of writing, it's so convenient just to go downstairs to the hotel you're staying at and indulge in the buffet. It is not high quality. It is institutional type food.
Yeah, but it's
protein. It's filling.
It fits the need. It's quick. It's convenient, and it's part of your room rate. So you know, it's cheap. Some were better than others. What I tried to do was look for fruit. You know, sometimes it was offered, sometimes it wasn't. Try to do something lighter, yogurt and granola or grits or something like that. Often would indulge in some eggs. John is an eggs and sausage kind of guy, and
protein.
If they're biscuits and gravy, he's all about that too.
I'm a Southern boy. What can I say?
Yeah, I just can't do that. It just doesn't digest well for me. So, anyways, there were some times we indulged in great breakfast. So when we were in Tulsa, and you know, as you know, we had a long tenure in Tulsa.
Wait, some people may not follow the channel, and they don't know why we had an unexpected delay in Tulsa, and that reason was?
We needed to hang out for 6 days waiting for our new fuel pump to be installed, to arrive from Dallas and then to be installed. So for our own sanity, we left the hotel a couple of times to have breakfast elsewhere. And that's when we tried out Tally's Diner, which is kind of famous.
It's on Route 66. It's a Route 66 icon.
And also the Silver Skillet, which was recommended by one of our Uber drivers.
So since we have more leisure time than we anticipated, we decided to do some research and realize that this restaurant, Tally's, which is pretty famous here on Route 66, is just under 2 miles from our hotel. So we Ubered on over and had breakfast here. Get some real food.
But we stumbled upon some real gems, wouldn't you say?
Oh, absolutely.
I'm thinking of that little town in Kentucky.
So Miriam decided she was hungry, so we just happened to pull off the interstate because we saw some signs that said some restaurants, and this one was not on the interstate signage. A little restaurant, Willow Pond Catfish. When you sit down, they give you a bowl of beans and some homemade hush puppies, and I mean homemade from scratch. And oh my gosh! And so we're having lunch here.
So do you have a memory of a mom and pop type place that you particularly enjoyed?
The Jubilee Cafe in Kickapoo, Illinois.
Yeah.
You don't pronounce the S. I finally got that down. In Illinois.
Yeah, we landed on the right day because their special was meatloaf.
Homemade meatloaf, and it was good.
So John indulged in that. I had something a little lighter, but they also offered homemade pie. And they were packed full of patrons, and the owner, an older gal, came to the table to see what kind of pie I wanted. And you know, it was just nice. I always love it when you get to meet the owner of a restaurant and have a little chat.
One of my favorites, and surprisingly, was the barbecue restaurant in Tehachapi, California. Normally, pulled pork barbecue is a southeastern thing, especially if it's the vinegar based, which is a North Carolina, Eastern North Carolina to be specific. It was really good, and I suspect that people had some sort of connections to North Carolina.
So Miriam opted for the brisket, the beef brisket, and a salad. How healthy.
And okra.
And okra.
Not so healthy.
Yeah. And I got coleslaw, the green coleslaw, not as sweet, ribs, and I'm still not sure if they're beef or pork, and pulled pork barbecue. See what we think about California pulled pork. Okay, that's actually pretty good. California, thank you. You did a good job on pulled pork. Wow, you're a long way from North Carolina.
I'm surprised you didn't mention the restaurant in Santa Rosa because you have raved about that.
Well, every time I think about the meal in Santa Rosa where we had new Mexican cuisine, it just makes me hungry, and I'm going to have to fly back just to go to Santa Rosa and have a meal.
Yeah.
Or Santa Fe. I think that all the food in that part of the that state is just phenomenal.
Right. So what about like your saddest meal? Do you?
Now, we did take a lot of freeze-dried foods with us because simply it was so much easier and less expensive to set in a room, add boiling water to a freeze-dried entree, and have a nutritious and flavorful meal. It's not top shelf. It is designed for camping and traveling, but convenience, and it will fill you up.
Well, and the freeze-dried meals saved us when we'd had a hard day of riding, like when we arrived in Needles and had been through the Mojave Desert at 106 degrees.
When they had the power outage in Sequoia National Park, and we were able to eat food and have coffee when nobody else could for almost 24 hours.
Yeah. And just, I think most of you already know this, but the National Park Service food is not really noteworthy. You know, that's not why
it's good.
It gives you sustenance, but that's not why you're visiting the national parks. You're not there for the cuisine. You're there for the views, for the nature, for the adventure of experiencing the nature. So I have two thoughts when I think about the saddest meals. One, we had an extended stay in Tulsa, and we didn't have transportation while the Spyder was in the shop, so we were Ubering, and we didn't want to Uber for every meal. So some of our meals we were walking to the close by restaurants, which were all chain restaurants. So that got old really quick, and some of those meals were just not great.
Yes.
But the other thought I have is, I don't know where we were. Maybe you remember, somewhere in Texas. I think we were on our way to Amarillo, but it was a remote area. We didn't have restaurants to choose from, and we ended up eating in like a convenience store for a gas station. And, my thought was, okay, I can make a go of this. I'll just get an apple or a banana or maybe some carrots and celery with hummus. None of that was available. No salad, nothing that had any kind of fiber in it, So I ended up getting something like chicken tenders, and I might as well have eaten, I don't know, rocks.
All right.
So is there anything you do differently when the next time we travel in terms of our food selections?
Actually, I think the entire trip turned out pretty well. Not a whole lot I would change on the eating side of the equation. We did take some freeze-dried meals, and we'll probably take more freeze-dried meals just because they're easy, they're convenient. You can buy them at Walmart or any place just to keep some in the event you need them, and just continue doing what we've been doing, looking at restaurants and preferring the small family-owned restaurants. Sometimes they're great, sometimes not, but that's a chance you take.
Yeah, and good chance you'll meet a local while you're there, even if it isn't a great meal, which is always kind of cool. Yeah, but for us, part of the adventure is exploring through your taste buds.
Yes.
And I really enjoy that aspect of travel. And
I'm pretty sure that Santa Rosa probably had a Taco Bell. We wouldn't have eaten there.
Oh my gosh, that would have been such a different experience.
And just for the record, we dressed ourselves separately. It's just an amazing coincidence that we have on orange tops, and I really think that she has a bad habit of reading my mind.
It just felt like a burnt orange kind of day.
Yeah. Well, anything else?
No, I think that's it. It was fun to relive this aspect of our trip, and excited about what we might explore next time.
Need some feedback from you guys. We're looking to go into a place where they speak French, and it's not going to be France. In the Quebec area of Canada, I speak no French.
Un petit peu.
And I'm concerned about traveling through the back roads of Quebec and not speaking French. So if any of you folks have experience in the Quebec area, are from Quebec, give us some feedback for us poor, lonely, improperly educated Americans who don't speak French.
Yeah.
My only experience with French, years ago I took in some roommates who were short-term in the area to pick up their advanced flight training, and they were all from France. And I tried to impress them with my little bit of French that I knew, and I spoke my phrase to him, and he looked at me and said in clear English, I don't know what that was, but it was not French. So I've stopped.
Oh dear, oh dear. Alrighty. Well, thanks for hanging out with us again today. I hope you all are well, and let us hear from you.
Y'all take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.